Well, here in Portland, cuts to the Portland Police Bureau's budget are now off the chopping block. City councilors today voted against an amendment that aimed to strip $18 million away from police. This comes after councilors last week tabled that vote on the proposal in favor of studying the potential impacts. Tonight, our Fox 12's Kendra Kent has the story.
The city budget office says that cuts to police would force the Bureau to have to lay off employees. And city commissioners decided more work needs to be done to figure out how to help those who get caught up in the criminal justice system. Meanwhile, they say cutting the police budget won't help in the meantime.
Respectfully, I vote no on this amendment. The amendment fails.
In a 3-2 vote, Portland City Commissioners vetoed a budget amendment proposed by Joanne Hardesty that would have cut $18 million from the Portland Police Bureau. Hardesty and Chloe Eudaly supported the amendment, which would have redirected those funds to other programs to help the homeless and those most impacted by the pandemic. Mayor Ted Wheeler and Commissioners Amanda Fritz and Dan Ryan voted against the amendment, citing public safety concerns and the need to better develop and implement alternative programs to policing before taking funding from police.
I'm very troubled that this proposal was not shared with our independent city budget office for review or analysis. For example, last week, we heard from the proponents that this would not require layoffs. It turns out that is completely wrong.
In a report released Tuesday by the city budget office, analysts concluded the $18 million cuts would require the Bureau to let go of staff. The Portland Police Association told Fox 12 120 officers, more than 10% of sworn positions, would be laid off, and another 30 non-sworn staff would also lose their jobs.
If you reduce the number of police officers on the street, crime victims are the ones that are going to feel the most impacted.
Talk of police reform and funding has been a major focal point for the city in recent months. Earlier this spring, city commissioners swiftly voted to cut $16 million from the Portland Police Bureau following the protests, unrest, and violence stemming from the police killing of George Floyd. At the budget meeting today, Hardesty, who has been a vocal critic of police and a champion for reform, says she's disappointed in her colleagues.
I want you to know that your vote against this amendment means that the status quo continues on. Black people will continue to be overpoliced. Houseless people will continue to be arrested at over 50% of the arrests that Portland Police Bureau will continue to make. And Portlanders will be continuing to deal with the lasting devastation of an over-aggressive police force who believes that they don't have a boss.
The Portland City Commission also voted on an array of other budget amendments. They are expected to vote on that next week. Reporting tonight, Kendra Kent, Fox 12 Oregon.